Attention. Welcome to the Different Spectrums podcast. We dive into the wild world of mental health discussions. Get ready for profound talks, a sprinkle of humor and sarcasm, and a touch of colorful language. Just a quick heads up, our show reflects our individual opinions, which may not align with the standpoint of the podcast, our featured guests, or any related corporate entities. Our mission? To illuminate through laughter and satire because everyone needs a good chuckle. Chill out and don't stress over the small stuff. Legal troubles? No, thank you. Cancel culture? Please spare us. We'd rather keep this space lawsuit free. So buckle up, have a good time, and join us as we navigate the vibrant realm of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. By using our link, you can get 10% off your first month of therapy. So, Naz, as a therapist on BetterHelp, what has your experience been like?
I've been doing it since January of 2021, and it's been really fun and exciting. I've been able to reach clients all over the United States and the world. I've had good relationships. I've had folks that I've had for a couple months and a good handful where I've had for almost 2 years now. So it's magnificent. I've enjoyed my time and my clients. I love them.
Awesome. You can do it all from your phone or computer via phone call, video chat, or messaging, however you feel the most comfortable. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/DSP or choose Different Spectrums podcast during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. Hey everyone, we back again.
We're back. We're back on live.
I'm Spencer. Of course, we have our licensed clinical therapist, Naz.
Everyone, Dr. Nas here.
There he is. Remember, don't take us too seriously.
Or do. That's completely up to you.
There we go. Also, don't forget to wrap those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. Before we get into it, go check out our new line called Be a Man, followed by the word cry, talk, support, be different, all the great things. Brand new. We have hats, we have shirts, we have hoodies, crew necks, a whole shebang-a-bang.
You got it.
So
Boosty
go
ass.
check it. Not yet. Well, at some point, I guess. Have the Different Spectrums boob holder.
Yeah. It'll support you when no one else does.
And that's a guarantee.
Yeah.
All right. Today we are getting into the short float. Yes. Yes, the short float.
Makes it sound so bad.
All right, we're getting to the short film float by Pixar,
There you go.
Disney. God damn it. Uh so this follows a son or yeah, his
Yeah.
son and a father. Um shows that the son can float, but the father is scared that what other parents are going to be judging his son for. So, this is actually based off of the writer and director's real life, because their child is also on the spectrum.
Okay.
And so he really got to kind of bring it in when it comes to realism. A quote that is stated on here is that Rubio said that the boy from the short is different from other children since he can float. He commented that while the father loves his son wholeheartedly without restriction, at first this begins to be altered by what the other people say. As a result, he has to choose between deciding they are right and ignoring their thoughts. So,
Man.
yes, lovely. Another great, sad little short that we have to watch today and almost make each other cry. Thanks,
We're
Nas.
just trading
Appreciate
jabs.
that.
Trading jabs.
Yep, love it.
Yeah.
So, anything before we get to the show?
It makes much more sense now. I feel awesome that, it actually is an autistic son and probably neurodivergent father as well. I mean, right, they're writer and director. Guarantee you're on the spectrum. Um, and that just full circle. So we're going to talk about this and how I've used it in my practice, how I've used it with different athletes, and how it's made me choked up and cry. Specifically about not being bad parents, but like also just being burned out parents.
Hmm.
Parents that are trying to get their kids to act a certain way and be a certain type. And we're going to talk about what it is to be autism affirming, neurodivergent affirming, just affirming in general with any practice, whether it be gender affirming, LGBTQ affirming, doesn't really matter. How do you affirm someone? How do you validate someone? How do you build their lives instead of forcing them to assimilate what you want and to give up everything that makes them them? And we'll get into some of the pros and cons and what other people will say about this or about this pod. So let's have a serious talk. Some of you are going to cry to this because it's going to make you feel like shit, because you're going to feel like, your parents did that to you. Maybe you're doing that to your kid. We're going to talk about it. So let's get into it. Let's have another good emotional talk. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop whoop. Hey everyone, I'm here to talk about our new collaborator, Toink Toys. They have a wide selection of, you guessed it, toys and other great collectibles. They have products from Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter, and everything pop culture. You could say they put the toy in Toink. So go check them out at toink.com and use our code Different Spectrums Podcast to get 10% off your entire order today. Hey everybody, we back again.
We're back and we're live. Just like autism. So do you buy all flu shots near you? Jesus Christ. I couldn't think of nothing.
Somebody saw Shane Gillis.
So bad. So awesome, hilarious.
Yeah.
The crowd that goes to these comedy events, now I understand why people hate Joe Rogan so much.
They're
It's not
very
necessarily
red hat wearing.
Bro, it's intense. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a whole podcast about that one day because you're just like, oh, this is pretty bad. So sorry to distract. We're back, we're live.
So, like I said earlier, we're doing the short film Float. Follows a child who's all of a sudden starts to float, and a father trying to make his child normal, quote unquote, normal. Yes. We see that in the scene, takes rocks, put them in his backpack, tells him to like wear a hoodie so his hair does not, start floating up as well. And then as they're walking, puts him on a leash too. Puts him on a leash, treats him
Jesus.
like a dog. So
As one should.
And then they finally get to a park and starts floating, gets out of his leash, starts running rampant like a wild dog. Like a wild dog. And kind of gets to the climax where the father's just like, why aren't you normal? Then kid just starts crying silently.
Yeah.
And then just gets back down, stops floating, stops being themselves. And then we see the father finally adjusting and actually, being accepted for having an autistic child. And then they all start laughing and everybody's watching. And so nicely, ha 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 ha.
It does.
Like I said, the writer and director actually has an autistic child and decided to make a story about their kid. Also wanted to, they are Filipino American, so he wanted to empower his son and also empower children of color, which is
Awesome.
fantastic.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. Yes. So how'd you stumble upon this short, this happy short?
Well, I'm talking, go ahead and look and see when it came out.
2019.
2019. Okay. So yeah, 2019, 2020. Tough years.
A lot of things happened there.
A lot of things happened.
A lot of things.
I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea how I stumbled upon this. I just like played. I'm pretty sure maybe I don't know if Disney Plus was around back then.
Yeah.
Was it? Okay. I lost track of time with COVID. So I'm pretty sure this was a Disney Plus watch, but it might have been somewhere
It
else.
was.
I don't know.
Came out in Disney Plus.
Okay, there you go. So I think I just watched it there and I was like, bruh. Um, I as we talk about this, the Filipino thing, dad of color, right? We just got done talking about men being man, cry, masculinity. And then you see this. There's not a lot of films where it's like great dads and like their children or like a son. Um, I remember a long time ago, a boy was asking me, I never see this, the dad embracing the son. I was trying to think of movies. It's always the dad embracing the daughter, but not the
Yeah, and
son.
when they do embrace the sun, they usually like die or something.
Traumatic.
Like look at Superman,
Yeah,
like Man of Steel, gets sucked into a tornado,
that's it. You don't see it. Uh,
dies.
so I'm thinking that now, like him being a dad, his kid, obviously autistic, the float, the superpowers. That's them probably being a little ADHD, them being a kid, rambunctious, probably meltdowns, crawling, drawing everywhere, like messing things up, dirty. I mean, just running around. Because you see, he looks super depressed at the end. I'm not sure if he has a partner or not because it doesn't reference anyone.
I'm pretty sure no, and that was kind of like that was also something that he saw himself as different because everyone else had like a mom, like, at least two parents or whatever, and he was by himself. So I'm assuming that the mom died.
Yep, I assume that as well too. And so you see it taking a toll on him. You see the child doing their thing, and then everyone looking and watching and judging. And so I think as autistic individuals, that's what we see. As me and Spence talk about all the time in here, the masking thing. Well, we get taught masking. Why? Because our personality has been beat the hell out of us. We talk about how women differ than men are there on the spectrum. It's because women are expected to act and be a certain way, where the boys can get away
Mhm.
with things. So they beat the hell out of them. The rambunctiousness, the excitement, the talkativeness, right? And a lot of my clients get put into this passivity role, very passive role. They'll say, I used to raise my hand all the time in class and I used to be nonstop talking and running around. And then see, everything changed. I just got real quiet and isolated, got really alone, depressed, very depressed. Society will destroy you. And the expectations of what you think it is to mean normal, neurotypical, to be a man, to be a woman, to be non-binary, to be brown, to be black in America, the world, you can't be black, if you talk good. You can't be Mexicans if you don't like tacos. You can't be. I've had this one so many times. You can't be black or brown and like anime. You can't be black. They can't be black or brown and like comic books. I'm like, how many black and brown folks love fucking Naruto and fucking Dragon Ball Z?
Do you know who kept that shit going?
Preach,
Yeah,
preach.
it's first of all, Mexican people fucking love Dragon Ball Z.
Yep,
A whole thing that just goddamn bubble. A whole thing that came out after Akira died, the creator of Dragon Ball Z. There's a whole thing going on about how, people in Mexico are actually like fucking depressed because this guy died
yep.
and they're showing so much respect for him.
I'm telling you, man.
So,
But I have so many clients that are autistic, and they don't fit in anywhere.
hmm,
It was all beaten out of them. And they're wondering, oh, well, I'm not like, these folks because I'm not hood enough or I'm not preppy enough.
mhm.
The other day, someone asked me, she said, Nas, is it true that a lot of autistic folk end up being friends with other autistic folk? I said, yep. We just convalesce in this little pile. It's like in the zombie movies. When all the zombies or the Walking Deads, they're all in one little group, just like sleep, but they're all in that one group.
Yeah,
Well, wasn't it I Am
autism.
Legend when they're with the little pack?
Yeah, yeah.
That's autism
I love how you just called autistic people zombies.
because they're dead inside.
Oh my God. They just walk around acting like they
you
don't know nothing.
just want
You
brains.
know.
You know,
You know.
you're just trying to get a nut, you know.
I don't know where we're going.
I don't know. I don't know either. So yeah, it's intense, man. Just how we poison people, that this is how you have to act. So I'm gonna say one more thing. I'm gonna kick this fence. I want people to think about, when was it when you first started realizing you had to change? That you had to be quieter, that you had to be more intellectual, that you had to maybe be louder, that you had to be more masculine, more feminine. When was it that you realized you started to betray your own self? When was it when maybe your parents if you're a parent, when did you start acting a little bit different with your children? Do you remember when people were looking and watching? As folks of color, do you remember those moments when you had to dress a certain way, talk a certain way, when you start to let some of yourself die, when you start to assimilate? Well, you know, you're part of this culture and you're part of the US and you should just act this way. Should I? Can I still keep my culture and then still be a US citizen and have the American flag outside? Um, Things to think about. Spence, when you was watching this, what was you thinking about? You right? Because I prepared you to be like super sad, and it is sad, but it's kind of cool. But it's like, you know, it's fucked up when you know it's all about an autistic kid.
Yeah, I know, right? So many. It's like, it's weird how we always have autistic films on this show. So weird.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's, again,
Different
that's that.
spectrum podcast.
That's that. You know, that's that whole zombie thing. You know, is we. You know, it's like I Am Legend. You know, the zombie collect.
Yeah.
It is a
Did you watch I Am Legend or
no.
oh
I'm sorry. We needed to laugh, people. we need.
I know.
We need to laugh.
So we just shot back to back sad ass podcasts.
You know.
Get into it. Yeah, I always think it's interesting when we just want to make everyone be the same. Just make everyone be the same. Just put them in a box. Make them think like you can only be this way and that's it. And it's just like it's not true. It's just so not true. Why do we have to be your kid's not going to be the same as everyone else. Just get over it. That's it.
Yep.
And I understand I'm not a parent, but at the same time, I'm also there may be some things where I want to guide my kid to certain situations so that they don't, A, get in trouble, or B,
Yep.
go through life being miserable. But at the same time, if I just tell them to be normal all the time, they're going to be miserable, especially if they're not quote unquote normal. Um, it's like, where do you draw the line? Where do you say, you know, okay, you can be yourself here, but you can't be yourself here. It's like, where's the line at? And they're kids; they're not going to know that.
No.
They just want to go out and do whatever, be kids.
That's the point right there. I missed that.
Yeah.
Grown-ups know the line. They're not the line. They know what it means. When you're a kid, you're just like, oh, don't do that, which means like, don't be me.
Yep.
Don't do that, which means I'm a terrible person. And then I know that's horrible and I'm shit and my parents don't love me. My parents don't love me. Or don't do that. My parents won't love me if I do that. But that thing is you. That stim that you're doing, that rocking or flapping, you talking and asking questions and details. You being the neurodivergent autistic individual that loves nature, that loves blowing out the dandelions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was so autistic.
Yeah.
I thought of like so many of my clients that are like bugs. At Purdue University, they have literally a bug festival that just happened this weekend. Tell me this is an autistic school.
So no eye contact was made during that.
Yes. No harming of bugs either. It's hilarious, man. And then blowing out that dandelion, I was like, that's the most precious, most mindful thing that someone could do. Most mindful thing is this autistic child just being themselves, just enjoying being in the moment. The dad's like, come on, we got to go. And I get that we got to go, but also know that you might have to build in some time for your child. It's going to take, maybe an hour, which you thought should only take 10 minutes. Not a lot of things in life are neuroaffirming are disabled, affirming. People literally had to crawl and walk and cry and fight for ADA rights and, handicap accessible things, hearing impaired things. They had to fight for those things. So we're still a long ways away from making everything, neurodivergent, autistic safe. And when it comes to even therapy rooms, let alone classrooms, um, students will come to me, Spence, and it's about rewiring all these things that they were told not to be. And I'm like affirming some things and telling them, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this, this, and this. Well, my dad told me that's not what we were supposed to do. Well, that got you in my office. You doing what everyone else told you to do, that got you suicidal.
Yeah.
Maybe let's give me a shot. You've been doing this shit 25 years, everyone else's way. Let's try it my way, which is technically your way. And the students are like, fuck it, I got nothing to lose. So, worst case scenario, I'm still depressed and suicidal. Best case scenario, me and Nas got a shot at being happy one day, That's where I usually get kids. Is the way that people want you to be, it just ain't going to be it. Maybe it's the way you dress, like me and Spence. A little bit different, a little bit more comfortable, relaxed. Maybe you want to dress up super bougie. Maybe you want to dress up super colorful. I used to judge a lot of people, Spence, that are walking down the street and they look like this or that. I see skinny jeans on you. Fuck you. But in actuality, I'm starting to be like, you know what? Hey, man, that's your style, man. Rock your shit. Do your thing. Like, I'm doing my thing. You do your thing. I'm still wearing these baggy ass old sweatpants and a hoodie. Everyone else looking good at the Tigers game. I look like a straight up bum. Straight up bum.
I know it's tough sometimes, especially for me. It's just like I just get so into like talking shit mode
Yep.
sometimes, and I get ahead of myself. And I guess when I see or know that someone is like autistic or anything like that, my judgment of how they are changes
Yeah.
a lot. And I'm just like, okay, well, I'm not gonna make like if I never make fun of anybody who can't help it, who can't
Yeah.
help being that. But at the same time, if you're a douchebag, I'm gonna
Oh,
come
that's
at you.
different.
Yeah, yeah, you know. And but I also think we kind of do this to ourselves in our culture, especially Black culture, where we just dog people out
We do.
unmercilessly, like
We do.
just go at them, and there's no sympathy at all for anything, and it's terrible
Legit
sometimes.
toxic, bro.
Yeah, it's terrible. And I mean, everyone has their own shit, but for some reason we always want to be talking shit about someone, how they dress, how they look, and then people get
Yep.
fucking depressed because they didn't conform to what
Yep.
we think is, you know,
In.
the best. Yeah.
Yep. Kids ain't got money and shit. And it's even more messed up when you're like this little autistic kid that's either super quiet, super anxious, maybe super annoying. Right as you go through school, you're that weird kid. And I was always that weird kid. Super hyper, super ADHD, always wanting to talk. Right. I was always that weird kid on the football teams too. I'd be doing the weirdest stuff. And like people were terrified of me. And also they're like, Nas is gay. And I'm like, yeah, what's up, boy? What you going? I'll see you at the bottom of the pile, motherfucker. Yeah, that's where the shit go down. They're like, oh no, Nas on top. I say, yeah, I'm on top right now.
I'm making my way down
I'm making my way downtown,
one tushy
walking
at a time.
fast. Something, look at me back now.
Copyright.
Yep. I was always so different, and people always are like, yeah, man, you're different. And so it's like float. It's like float. How do you find your people? I think, Jesus, I was crying earlier today. We just did a podcast on finding Nemo. And Dory finally finds like a person, which is Nemo's dad, and like, hey, I feel good around you. I can remember things. Like I feel like I'm home. Well, that's how it is for a lot of autistic folk when they find each other. As friends, as romantic partners, you finally feel home. You finally feel regulated. That's what you do when you find a really good partner, when you become a really good parent, when you become a therapist, you become healing for folks. Your humanity heals other humans. Not your knowledge, not your books, not your certifications. Your humanity heals others. And I had this gift, didn't know I had it. Turns out I have it a lot for folks that are autistic. Turns out I have a lot of folks that are men. But turns out I had it a lot for women as well, and I never expected that. That I'm just able to heal others just by being human. And by having a conversation, which is quote unquote therapy, but it's a conversation. But some folks you just know, you talk to them and you're like, I just feel good. Like, this is a funny person. This is a loving person. This person's so good that they make me want to be a better person. As Dory said, I remember things. I was thinking of like autistic folk or ADHD folk. You know, some people are so regulating, or like they have a person that they body double with, and then they just remember shit and they do better in school. They actually like feel like they're fucking normal. They feel accepted. I told you in the last pod, Spence, right, about one of my boys, Mike. And that's one of my dudes literally until I die. And I just like, we just met each other, just eating, skipping class, playing basketball. I wonder how I met Spence. Playing basketball, eating, and he probably skipped some classes.
I skipped a few classes.
You skipped it. You like, nah, it's on free at this time. I'm like, motherfucker, don't you got class?
Nah.
I'm good.
It got canceled by me.
Oh, it got canceled. So I'm sure like, okay, I ain't gonna ask nothing else.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, but it was wellness. It was all for wellness.
I took a mental health day.
You did. With it, how he's like, I'm working with my therapist.
Yeah, I took like 5 mental health day classes in a row.
You did.
It's fine.
Yeah, we was in such shape. Jesus.
Oh, it was so great.
It was so great. Yep. So someone commented on Thread, Spence. They said, man, it must be really awesome to have like a good support system. Not having a good support system is traumatic. Yeah, me and Spence, I feel like shit all the time when we and you talk about our support systems and the humans that love us. And I'm like, I know other people don't have that.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do people find other neurodivergent folks? Other autistic folks? Because we got pockets, but we ain't just out and about like everybody else.
Yeah. Also, probably be careful. Like you do chat rooms or something. Be a little cautious too.
Cautious. Yeah, I don't know about like a chat room.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't go on like Reddit and be like, my people. Oh, yeah, these other posts.
Yeah. So actually, if you want to go on Reddit and you're reading other people's stories or like you're saying things and maybe it's a little anonymous, like the autistic women or women that are autistic, there's a specific Reddit. It's wonderful. There's a lot of good Reddits that you're just reading and learning knowledge, but I don't know, I don't want you to be on there making new friends and shit. Be careful. Be very cautious on who you talk to on the internet. But those forums where people are just being expressive and like learning from each other, magnificent.
Right.
I was telling folks, I said, library probably gonna be some autistic folks, Comic-Con, the furry convention.
Just watch out for those OnlyFans people. Some both of those.
Yep.
They get you.
They get
yeah,
you.
I'll be a friend for $5.99 a month.
Yeah. Well, Jessica too.
I know Jessica.
Yeah. What about Bobby? Bobby be in there.
Hey, Bobby slanging that thing.
Jesus. I would say there's a ton of autistic folks that are in the gym. There's a ton of folks that are super into wellness. A lot of folks that are in a lot of art, craft, music. But our folks are everywhere. They're just not always going to be at the pub, and they might not always be on the appies. It's half off at Applebee.
Is there a reason why it's always half off at Applebee's?
I don't know.
I don't feel good.
This is the bad chickens.
I just feel like Tom not Tom Hiddleston. What's his fucking name? Spider-Man at the end of Endgame. It's like, I don't feel too good.
Yeah.
and then he just fades away.
Oh, it feels so good.
That's me, and I'm taking a shit because I have diarrhea from fucking Applebee's.
There you go.
Thanks a lot, Nas.
Thanks. I reminded you of good moments.
Great moments.
Our folks are there. You just got to find us. For those of you that are parents, man, maybe you need to look into, if your kids, this and that acting up, maybe they're autistic. Maybe if they're having meltdowns all the time, or they're, overstimulated, or they're looking out, they're in the car ride and it's too loud and they're melting down, or maybe it's too bright in the car. Maybe your kid's autistic. Maybe they're bebopping all over the house all day, every day. Maybe they're not just a kid. Maybe they're all autistic. We see how hereditary autism is. And it's hilarious. There's all these autistic moms on Instagram. Autistic mom, autistic mom. Autistic mom, and you got autism too. It's not just your kid, girl.
It's just them.
It's just them.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, it's one of y'all, and most likely because we all partner with each other, it's probably both of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny when I see those things is we talk about the kids like they're just so different and abnormal, and then yet we know it's so hereditary, so also it's part of you.
Yeah.
And so when we treat some of these kids poorly, or we modify everything out of them, it's out of love because I want to protect them so they get a good job, so they can have a good life, so they can meet a partner, right? And so parents will ask me, I think your kid's autistic. Now, are they going to be happy? They're going to have kids. They're going to have sex. I'm like, well, your kid pretty happy now. They've already had sex and they don't want kids. So,
well, and you might need to spend a little bit more on Legos, but you know what? Be just fine.
Hey,
just
Legos fine. And string cheese.
Is that a thing? String cheese for autistic people?
No, I just feel like saying it.
Let's do a study. How many autistic people like string cheese?
A shit ton.
Pretty good.
I've had some recently. I'm like, this shit is good.
I know, right? But I'm okay. Okay. I don't think that's how you're supposed to eat it. I don't think that's how you're supposed to. Let's see. Let's go one stick at a time. Oh. I got 5 in there. And you're still talking? Damn.
Oh, Jesus.
I also
go ahead.
I actually also think that string cheese might be for autistic people.
I think so too.
Because the way you pull it apart and shit, everybody has their own process on how to pull string cheese apart.
Yep.
And shit. So
autistic people love string cheese or they hate it. It's a very vivid
mice.
feeling.
Mice, they get to that string cheese.
Autistic folks and string cheese is like racism. You either really like it or you really hate it.
No in between there.
There's no in between. You either hate black people or you love black people.
I'm indifferent. I don't know. Shaquisha's not that great.
Oh,
I don't know.
my God. Yeah, well, this will be our last podcast.
I'm black. I could say it.
He is. He black as hell. Can't you tell?
Where is it? There it is.
There it is. So what we're talking about is neuro and autism affirming practices. It can be done in the therapy office when you're helping people identify who they are and what they are, what their needs are. A lot of the time working with autistic clients, it's working on making sure they're setting better boundaries and telling other people what their needs are. So often I'd be like, so they're like, yeah, I'm just going to have to ghost these people. I said, why you got to ghost them? Well, I don't want to have a conversation to tell them that they're pissing me off. I'm like, bruh. Just have a simple ass conversation with your friend. She talked too much. Tell her she talked too much. Oh, I can't do that. I'm just going to ignore her until I graduate. Goddamn. That's your roommate. Jesus.
You can't ignore her.
She ain't going nowhere.
She right there. She on your top bunk.
Yeah. like, you making coffee and she shitting in the same room. Like, this is like, y'all right there. You can't ignore.
The brewing of shit and coffee.
Hey,
What a mix that is.
make America great. I don't know.
Okay.
So right, we get to this thing we're talking about, float, and it made me super sad and cry.
Yeah.
So now we're getting more specific because he says, why just can't you be normal? Super frustrated, right? He could be spectrum himself. He's fed up with it. Single dad, lashes out on the kid. Why? Because he's trying to protect the kid, not because he hates the kid. Could be a little depressed, but because he's trying to protect the kid. Because everyone's looking, possibly wanting to harm him, or maybe take the kid away from his dad, right? Because maybe the kid's so disabled that they need to take him away. Maybe it's a foster care thing or some type of group home. And so you're scared when you go out in public and your kid's so different. You do your best to weigh them down, change the way they talk, speak, act, articulate, change the way they make eye contact or avoid eye contact. You end up rewriting everything. And so they never even get to know themselves. They never get to love themselves. They love this character that you help them perfect. So my clients will come to me. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I love. I want friends, but I can't be with people because I suck at intimacy. Not because I'm autistic, because the intimacy was taken out of me. So people come to my office, Spence, and we build up intimacy and love, emotions. Be a man, cry. Be a man, support. So we see this dad and we see him grow as a dad almost instantaneously. It's like me when I've said things and I've hurt people's feelings and I'm like, fuck. Let me take accountability for this. Let me do better. Let me make up for this, because that's what real men do. You don't love bomb someone and then treat them like shit immediately after. That's what manipulators do. That's what the assholes are manipulating you. Hold yourself accountable. You do better. As we just did the short on Kobe Bryant, Spence, what'd you point out? He said he'd try and get better every day. Basketball, better dad, better friend. There's always things you can get better at. So that's what I wanted folks to look at is, how your words can kill a kid, how they can shut it down. And when the kid's brain gives out, man, that's it. The body gives out. It all gives out. So be careful, be cautious on what you're pushing. You're pushing your shit. The kid's different than you. Guide them, help them, love them. Don't cut their arm off, then fucking put on some robot shit. Don't put the whiteness on top of them. That's what probably it's going to be, is the whiteness. So that's my 2 cents. We had some fun in this pod. We had to change it up, right? It was a heavy day. But let people float, and you're going to end up floating with them. You're going to have a good time because you will get to be yourself with them and be excitable. So look at the dad here. Be the dad at the end. Here it is.
All right.
What you got? You can throw some sauce on it. We can get out.
Yeah, just love your kids. That's about it. I mean,
Simple.
that's all you can do.
Love your kids.
Love your kids.
Love your kids.
There you go. All right. So thank you everybody for watching. Go check out BetterHelp. Use our URL, betterhelp.com/DSP, to get 10% off your first month of therapy. If you're kind of struggling, kind of going through things, BetterHelp is a great way to help you out and can actually match you with therapists that fits you.
Yeah.
Right. So you've seen the ad before. Nas works at BetterHelp, and you can find somebody just as great as him as a therapist if you go on to BetterHelp. So
Yep.
check it out. If it's not for you, that's fine. Whatever. But go on there, check it out. Yeah. And with that, I'm Spencer. That's Nas. Different Spectrum Podcast.
All right, everyone. Remember, much love and take care of yourselves.
Or don't.
It's up to you. Peace.